Hello and welcome. My name is Andrea Anderson and I'm the head of user experience here at Guidewire, and really excited to talk to you today about the art of making great user experiences with Guidewire Jutro.
Hello and welcome from me too. My name is Dmitry Remenuk. I'm Global Practice Leader Digital Innovations at Guidewire.
Most of us use digital experiences all day long, now more than ever. The Zoom meeting you're on right now is actually a digital experience. Your online banking app, the websites you host for your customers, the applications we use for shopping, making a reservation, buying tickets, and so much more. That has made us less tolerant of poor user experience, and we gravitate towards businesses that offer great user experiences. We will cover the why, the how, the what, and then Dimitri will show us a really great demo. There are some stunning numbers around the cost of bad user experience. Lost sales is just one of them. Did you know that 45% of users give up if registration is hard or perceived a hurdle? Customer and IT support go up dramatically when you have poor user experiences. People get stuck, they might call, they might or might not get help, and another customer might be lost. On the other hand, studies from, for example, McKinsey or IBM have shown that there's a huge upside to good user experience and good design. Not only does it increase sales, but it makes customers want to come back, which of course is key in insurance, where we want our customers to renew their policy, hopefully effortlessly, and perhaps even cross-sell them other products that might be useful to them. I have seen over and over that spending time on user experience before the software development cycle makes not only for quicker time to market, but also will increase customer satisfaction. I have been in the IT and UX UI space for a long time now, and I've learned a few things along the way. While customer user experiences certainly can be amazing, they also entail a significant investment in both design and development resources. Combine that with your users' expectations, omni-channel, consumer-like experiences, increasing IT challenges such as staffing for designers or front-end developers, or even new software development lifecycle realities such as new UI technologies. Making good application user experiences can be daunting. So then, what is the recipe for success? Number one, a design-led development approach. There's various names for it, but basically, remember what I said earlier, that investing in user experience thinking before the actual software development starts not only reduces development effort, but also increases user satisfaction. Let me walk you through some of the key phases. First, you identify the user and the problem space. What pain points and motivations and needs are we actually going to address with a solution? Then you might imagine, how might that user experience look and feel in the ideal world? You also would test any first user experience thinking with intended end users, and also, of course, work closely with development and subject matter experts to make sure what you're designing is both feasible and viable. And then you begin working closely with development to bring the user experience to life. Design-led development is a team sport between designers, subject matter experts, and developers working closely together through the entire life cycle. The second part of the recipe for success is a design system. You might have heard about Material Design or Salesforce Lightning and some other design systems out there. In short, the intent behind a design system is to lower both the design and development effort and increase consistency and cohesiveness in the UI, which in turn results in better user experience. Dimitri will talk about our new Jutro design system and explain in more detail.
So what is Jutro? Jutro is Guidewire's own design system, which includes a vetted library of UX, UI design assets on one side, and reusable library of pre-built components on the other. All to speed up design and development, but also to promote the consistency in user experience across different consumer applications. In other words, Jutro provides tools for both designers and developers, where the latter can benefit from the metadata-driven codeless approach, since each of the UI component in Jutro library is easily configured via so-called presentation metadata. making it easy not only to create but also to maintain, and what is more important, to upgrade it in the future. And of course, it provides a set of foundation capabilities across all assets, including built-in functionality for the responsiveness, analytics, internationalization, and accessibility support for the end users.
So let's talk about great user experience and what really goes into it. We will do this along an example. Imagine your business comes to you and asks you to create a compelling web experience for a new product they intend to launch to farmers in Australia. They give you the product model, and your marketing folks give you their branding colors they want you to use. So that's really great. But now what do you do next?
Hi Andrea. We are building quote application for the brand new farm product and would love to adjust the standard user experience. Hope you could help us with it.
Hi Dimitri. Yes, I've heard from product management about the new farm product.
Let me show first what we've got working so far with the out-of-the-box user experience we have automatically generated from our product. There are no custom styles that are applied yet at all. So, we are now on the landing page, where as usual I can start the quote for the farm all-in-one product by providing the zip code. And we have our standard wizard, including all the mandatory steps like information about the customer, pre-qualification questions, and of course the coverables. And because it is all-in-one product, we have a few of them. As you see, there are farm buildings, vehicles, crops, livestock, and also possibility to cover business interruptions and liabilities. We can add individual coverages in a pop-up window. After providing minimum mandatory information, I can also select corresponding coverages. Right now there is nothing automatically pre-selected on this list, but we are going to change it later in the product, so the user experience will be automatically updated. And that's how coverables and buildings are shown after adding them. Let's move on to the quote screen. Not much details here so far, but the premium is calculated and shown. On the next screen, we can provide some missing contact details and change the billing address if needed. Then over to the payment screens, which we are reusing from other LOBs. And that's it. On final step we have policy created and all the basic details are available. It's a standard bare-bone user experience, and of course we would like to adjust it and make it more farmer-oriented, and hope you can help us with it.
That is very helpful. It helps me understand the overall information architecture of this new product and the screens. So next we will work on both the interaction design and visual design to make sure the product experience is going to be very intuitive. Let's check in regularly. I'll set up a call for us once a week.
One of the key aspects of great user experience is, to no big surprise, the user. One of the first questions you should clarify: who is the solution for? And what are their needs and motivations? What context are they working in? Or in what context are they going to buy the insurance in? Let's take a look at our user, often called persona, Olivia in our case. This persona was created based on the needs and motivations of real users that are interested in buying this kind of insurance. What does Olivia need when seeking out insurance? For example, she wants to understand what coverage she might need. She wants also to feel that she can trust the insurer. The next step is to start laying out the journey Olivia would ideally take when purchasing the insurance product that might be suitable for her. What are those key moments? Where is she at the moment? What device types is she using? Her experience should make her feel confident and successful. And you might also want to think through devices and channels Olivia would be using, since they will be an important consideration when building the solution. Next, let's start thinking about user experience flow. The first experience Olivia might encounter is your company's storefront or website. So at this point, we might need to account for two use cases. One, get a new quote, or the second one, continue with an existing quote. Why is this important? Well, depending on what action Olivia chooses, the next screen will show up for her. For example, an account details page. Next, let's take a look at what we need Olivia to do next to make her experience with our application as simple and fluid as possible. At this point, you may want to start leveraging Guidewire's auto-generated quote and buy flow. The generated micro app makes an excellent starting point for your user experience. It also provides you the specifications of the fields Olivia would need to complete in her steps throughout getting a quote. Now begins the work of creating the detailed user experience design. For example, we may want to keep Olivia informed how many steps she needs to complete and where is she in the quote process. So we decided to relocate the auto-generated wizard to the top where it is easier to discover for the user. We also want to define some user-friendly human language that speaks to Olivia instead of reusing system-generated field labels. We clearly want to call out which fields are required and in what format, so Olivia doesn't have to guess where she has to provide information. And lastly, to make Olivia's life easy, we want to get as much information auto-completed so Olivia can get a quote as quickly as possible. With Guidewire's design system Jutro, mocking up new experiences is easy. We provide you with configurable components where you can set properties such as text labels, formatting, or tooltips. So you can not only create a design mockup, but actually use these same properties in our code component library. Designers work with generic design tools, such as Sketch, Vue, or Axure. For your convenience, all our UI components and patterns are not available as code, but also as what's called a sketch symbols library. Our consultants or your designers can easily mock up the UX using components and properties that are included as part of the UI library. Part of a great user experience is reflecting your company's brand, which also appeals to your user at the same time. Often, colors, fonts, and images are seen a little bit like eye candy, but don't underestimate the design effort that goes into what we call visual design. Your company might have its own group that owns branding, or might even have hired an outside agency to help with web design. Enlist their help. We also provide a few examples what can be achieved by modifying our out-of-the-box styling. Often, a few simple changes to iconography, colors, or other company-specific information can go far in making a more engaging user experience.
So here's the splash page. We kind of took into consideration brand of the customer here. And then if we continue along here, then we have the next screen, which is the screen where all the coverages come up. So the buildings and the vehicles, etc. And you notice we still get this more farm type iconography here, but we respected all the fields that came from the product model. So take a look and then let us know what else you might need.
Really nice, I love the style and colors here. Visit on the top instead of the left hand side is also more streamlined for this kind of the product. And thanks for providing all the visuals, we should be able to pick up those together with all the styling attributes in the inspection mode here. So I can quickly take those assets and paste into the quote and buy code base. And since it is a Jutro app as well, instead of doing inline changes, I can just create new farm theme. There we set just a few properties for theme colors, backgrounds, just to start with. Then we need to reference it from our launcher, the main entry point in quote and buy which starts the Jutro app. And voila! We have an adjusted experience. You see the main colors, background image, and the basic wizard is set as well. But I was wondering whether they could have more details on the Coverable Screen and make it really shine. Also more specifics for the wizard, so one can clearly differentiate visited versus non-visited, clickable versus non-clickable steps. That would be awesome.
Dimitri, that already looks amazing. So let's start with the progress indicator. We could simply highlight on hover where the user is at right now. So for example, if they click on questions, we use a highlight color. If they move their cursor to coverables, and that's a step they haven't touched yet, we don't have the background color, but we highlight where the user is at right now. So that should help. I'll send those specs over. Regarding the coverable screen, so we created some images and I wonder if we could add a white background behind each of the coverables and then basically add an icon to the right-hand side. I can send you the image files, and if that would be possible, I think it'll look great.
Great, let me take a look. First I'm going to design Coverable Screen and copy the image assets from the InVision app. And by the way, with a team we have decided to refactor the screen itself and to make it easier to maintain in future by creating new component for every card there. We have similar design and functionality, so it will be quite useful in our opinion. Here they are, new Coverable Card Jutro component with the metadata describing the layout. This approach of using metadata, by the way, instead of putting everything in code, will save us a lot of efforts and hassle during the future upgrades. And as you see, they are trying to use main theming variables wherever it is possible and feasible. But of course, to make a pixel-perfect design, they can always go down to the specific page or component. The wizard steps styling were adjusted by the team in parallel. So let's see what we have after this adjustment. I'm going quickly through the initial steps to the Coverable Screen, which now looks exactly as in your mockups. And of course the functionality is still the same. Also now user can much clearer see the steps on the top where they can directly jump back or forward, making overall user experience much friendlier. But that's not all. Great user experience is not only colors, fonts or images. User experience starts with an insurance product and its content, making it easier to understand, easier to make choice by pre-filling the information which can be pre-filled automatically. This can be done either using the existing data in the system or through Guidewire platform integration capabilities. In both cases, it would make UX much smoother and more streamlined, allowing carriers to concentrate on the growth and innovation aspects of their business. So let me show you our final design of the quote experience with some new neat features. You have already seen this capability of using Google Places integration to pre-fill customer details. But we went even further, and after discussing the product with a carrier, they have introduced function which allows users to define the ground area of the buildings and the crop fields they want to insure directly on the map, as you see here, just by using the drawing tools on the map component embedded in our quote journey. And by doing this, they can automatically pre-fill some fields on the screen, like the ground area in square meters for the building here, for example. Also, you see that coverages are pre-selected based on the updated design of the product. Same functionality is available for the crop fields. The only difference will be that the ground area is calculated in hectares as a more suitable entity. But in both cases, we are, first of all, saving time for the user, as they don't need to enter the information manually, which they potentially need to search for, Second, information will be more precise and up-to-date. And third, and maybe even more important, since it will be saved together with a submission and future policy, it could open a whole bunch of new opportunities for the insurance carriers, in terms of how they can process and analyze it, either for the underwriting purposes or even for the proactive claim handling. Going through the rest of the flow, we have made some other final touches to the different screens, including quote. Policy information here with a reminder of all selected coverages and ability for users to amend directly from here if needed. And of course, the whole experience was built in responsive design, as all of our digital applications, so you can easily reuse it on devices of different form factors, not only desktops.
We hope you enjoyed this presentation as much as we enjoyed making it. Let me summarize. We showed how a design-led development approach leads to great user experience designs. We showed you how you can accelerate the development of digital experiences and how you can launch and iterate products fast. All this is possible with Guidewire's Insurance Suite, Guidewire Digital, Advanced Product Designer, and Jutro.